On Larry King Now, Big Bang Theory, Simon Helberg.
There's nothing like a group of geeky sci-fi fans to show you what real passion is. They will follow you to the ends of the Earth and Middle Earth and every other Earth.
Do they treat you in that kind of awe-inspiring way?
Yeah, there are definitely moments where it feels a little bit sycophantic. I've had my hair pulled at Comic-Con, and I don't know if I was cloned. I led a very clumsy, sad, ridiculous existence for a while. I think that I had the perfect girl in front of me, and then I decided to throw it all away to I don't know, to sow my oats, and I couldn't sow one oat.
Plus,
it's an honor to be here, although I thought this was your show that you did live. I don't really know what now means, but...
all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest, Simon Helberg, the actor and comedian. You know him as Howard Wolowitz. On TV's #1 comedy, The Big Bang Theory, the CBS smash hit just finished its 7th season. Simon also stars in the upcoming I Am I alongside his wife Jocelyn, who also directed the film. I Am I is in select theaters and available on demand June 13th, and another project as well. We'll talk about all of that coming up. What an ending to The Big Bang Theory. What happened to Sheldon?
Yeah, they won't tell us, so hopefully it's nothing too sinister or depressing. It was a touching ending, you know, off on a train, and who knows? I hope he's happy wherever he's spending hiatus.
Did it surprise the cast?
Well, nothing surprises us anymore. I mean, we ended a season where I shot up into space, so I think it was in relation to that, it was nothing too shocking. But yeah, we're hoping it returns. I hope the train works.
How do you explain the success of that show?
It's so hard to break down. I think that there are some obvious components. The writing is spectacular. The attention to character and keeping things truthful. Run by Chuck Lorre, Steve Malero, Bill Prady. They're genius showrunners, and they know how to develop characters at a pace I think that people like to watch television at, which is slowly. That's why we're still on. These characters don't make huge leaps every week. It takes 6 years for Sheldon to hold a girl's hand. Or
when you auditioned for it,
yeah.
Simon, did you think it would be what it is?
I had done so many pilots and things that didn't go on to have a fruitful life. I wasn't cynical, but I think it was the first time I kind of was present about it, and I thought, hey, at least I'll get to do this pilot. And when we shot the episode, I thought we had a great week rehearsing, but when we shot, I knew something was happening. The audience connected in a way that was, you know, I mean, there's nothing like a group of nerdy, geeky sci-fi fans to show you what real passion is. They will follow you to the ends of the Earth and Middle Earth and every other Earth. So we knew we had something that hit home.
Let me tell you what one of your co-stars, Mayim Bialik, said about the show. It's a show about the rest of us. The shows I watched as a kid were lots of attractive people hooking up in different permutations. And our show is not that. Our show is about the other people who don't fit in.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yeah. It's the underdogs, and it's not commenting on these people. It's communicating from their point of view. And I think there was an initial kind of backlash from people thinking that we were making fun of these characters or making fun of nerds or outsiders. And the truth was, if you saw the writer's room, they'd be the first to say it, look no further.
When you got cast, did you see it as I mean, did you fit that role?
It was sort of the breaking point for me. I was a little tired of playing such nerdy, cliche kind of characters, but I didn't feel that this was a cliche version of it. I felt that it was in that world, so I was kind of torn because I wanted to break out. You know, you get a lot of parts that are just Trekkies, and they're very generic and two-dimensional, and I thought I just want to, you know, I don't necessarily think I'll get Colin Farrell's rejects, but I could at least do something outside of it. And I thought, all right, this seems special, and they flesh these guys out so that they're real people, and I feel really lucky to get to do it week after week.
Did your dad have an influence on you?
He did, absolutely. He was part of the original Groundlings, and was was a character actor, is a character actor, and so I grew up kind of going to the Groundlings, I guess, and on that stage. And
Mel Brooks.
And Mel Brooks, and my dad was in a lot of Mel Brooks movies, and so I think, you know, at a certain point, I played music a lot my whole life. That's what I thought I was going to do, and I thought, well, God, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of in this world a little, and I auditioned for a school play, and girls laughed a lot more with me than at me, and people liked it, and I just felt like I should go study this and do this.
What's Chuck Lorre like to work for?
He's an amazingly attuned, intense man, and incredibly warm and friendly. There's almost it's like he has perfect pitch but for sitcom writing.
Is he tough?
He's tough in the sense that he knows what works, and that's what he wants. And he's.
You like that then? No?
I love it. I mean, I was intimidated by him for a while, and I think people are, and it's not because he was mean or did anything that really warranted my being intimidated. It was just that is a prolific guy, and he carries himself. He's a perfectionist, and if something doesn't sound or hit the way that he wants it to, he will just tell you. There's no beating around the bush. So there's a moment of, does he like me, or is he? And it's, of course, you're hired. You got the job. I don't know.
Simon Helberg's our guest. Coming up, what happens when it becomes your wife's job to boss you around? We're talking about Simon's turn in I Am I after the break.
Well, I don't know what's keeping her.
She been doing all right?
Sure. Well, she's having a hard time, you know.
She's acting really...
Don't tell her I told you this, but she's been dressing in Sarah's old clothes for quite a bit.
What? She's acting weird.
I think it has something to do with her father.
What do you mean?
Since she saw him at the funeral.
He was at the funeral.
What?
I thought you knew.
I knew she'd been seeing him. I didn't know he was at the funeral.
Yeah, he showed up after everybody else left.
You know much about him?
No, just what Rachel's told me about the missionary work and the traveling.
No, don't think so.
What do you mean?
He's mentally ill. Lives in a home.
What? I thought he lived in an apartment.
Sarah didn't want to tell Rachel unless he got better. He has no memory of her.
Sorry. Wait, I got held up at... Oh, what?
That was a clip from I Am I, Simon's upcoming film. Your wife wrote it and directed it. She's in the scene with you.
Yes.
What's it like to be directed by your wife?
Was there ever a time where I wasn't? No, it's not that. She's fantastic. I was very lucky. We communicate. We had worked together. She's an actress, obviously, and we had worked together doing theater, so we knew how to talk to each other, I guess, professionally and creatively, and it was incredible. We had an amazing time. And
is that how you met?
No, we met actually just at a party. We had gone to the same high school. We're both from LA, and we didn't know each other in high school. We met at a housewarming party, and she forced me to dance to Thriller, and it was dark, which is where I do my best dance moves. So things worked out well, and yeah.
Then you went on to, you're co-directing a movie that's coming, because We'll Never Have Paris.
Yeah.
When does that come?
That will come later this year. We don't have a release date yet, but we're doing the festival circuit now.
That's semi-autobiographical, true?
Unfortunately, it is. Yes, it's about my proposal to her, which was preceded by a horribly disastrous, clumsy breakup that I spearheaded. I essentially self-destructed and threw everything that I knew and loved away, which I think happens sometimes to guys when they're having kind of a quarter-life crisis. Thought I had feelings for somebody else, and immediately regretted the decision and came crawling back to her, and she had gone to Paris, and I followed her there, and it was a nightmare.
She's not in the movie?
She's not in this movie. This movie is me, Melanie Linsky plays the role of her, Alfred Molina, Zachary Quinto, Jason Ritter. Yeah, it's a fantastic cast, and it is a sad comedy because I led a very clumsy, sad, ridiculous existence for a while, but I think I got it together. I think I did. I just.
What happened?
Well, I just I think that I had the perfect girl in front of me, and then I decided to throw it all away to I don't know, to sow my oats, and I couldn't sow one oat, and so I just realized that I had made a horrible mistake immediately, but I can continuously confessed all of my thoughts and every impulse that I had and every indiscretion that I had, and I sabotaged my life, basically.
How does co-directing work?
It works. I mean, this is such a unique situation because we were telling a story that was about us, and so it works. You do a lot of planning ahead of time, and then if you're doing this kind of movie, you have your wife sit there and direct you through scenes that are based on the most embarrassing parts of your relationship. So basically, I relived all of the terrible choices that I had made in front of her, and she had to now tell me how to do it. So she could say, you know, grovel more or scream more.
This is about
like
you, huh, Simon?
This is me. This was me spiraling into a pit of just darkness and neuroses.
How does your wife react to your fame from Big Bang Theory?
In the most grounded way possible. She kind of doesn't let me know that I'm famous, which is good, because I don't think of myself as a celebrity, really. I don't know how that works for other people.
Well, you're recognized. You're celebrated.
I celebrate myself anyway, even before I was famous. So yeah, no, there's undeniable. Although it happened to me the other day, I'm recognized quite a bit. But then the other day, I was sitting in my car outside of Starbucks, getting off of the phone, and a lady came up and asked me to roll down the window, and I said, I don't, please. I rolled down the window, and she said, "Are you a taxi?" And I drive a black car with tinted windows, and so I thought I really regret not picking her up, because what an adventure it would have been to come home to my babies, and that's the only place I go, but I would have gotten paid. So
we'll talk about your babies in a while.
Okay.
What does his co-star May Bialik think of Simon's comedy? We'll find out after the break. Plus, Pacino's in the house. My friend Al, stay with us. You ever break up on set?
Yeah, I mean, in front of an audience, by then we've usually gotten our giggles kind of out of the way. Simon Helberg, who plays Wolowitz, he has the ability to make me laugh pretty much any time.
True, you break her up?
Why cut her off? She was saying such amazing things. Finally, some truth. I don't know. I guess that's very nice of her. She always says she's my biggest fan, but I think she's my.
Oh, accept it.
I guess I will accept it. She's hilarious herself. We break up from time to time, but not as much as you might think. There's a couple folks that do. Kunal breaks up quite a bit, but we're all just kind of in the zone. So.
Your character is infamous for impressions. Conan O'Brien said you do the best Nicolas Cage he's ever seen. Do Nicolas.
Oh, jeez.
Well, Larry, it's an honor to be here, although I thought this was your show that you did live. I don't really know what now means, but I guess I'll go with the flow.
Now, my dear friend is Al Pacino. We spend a lot of time together, and I know you do Al, so let me hear you do Al.
Well, you know, the great fucks you may have had What do you remember about them? Probably not the orgasm. One girl, she bring me cafe au lait, make my balls feel like concrete. What do you want?
Did you? That's terrific. Did you ever think of doing a comedy act and doing impressions?
I did do that at one point. So I did it, probably when I was about 19, 20, probably, yeah, for 3-4 years. So into my early 20s, and I did a lot of characters and impressions, and I had a brief stint on Mad TV, which was not very pleasurable. But yeah, so I did a lot of that. But then I kind of burnt out. I don't know. It's a little
The Big Bang Theory has freako fans, right? Devoted fans,
Yeah.
Star Trek-y fans,
Yes.
right? Do they treat you in that kind of awe-inspiring way?
Yeah, there are definitely moments where it feels a little bit sycophantic. I've had my hair pulled at Comic-Con, and I don't know if I was cloned, but if there's anyone that could have done it, it was the odd girl that plucked out a hair. So yeah, there's moments like that when you're feeling other people's sweat on your skin that becomes a little intense.
Did your father, Sandy's, did he encourage you?
I wouldn't say encouraged, not discouraged, but I think there's a lot of there's an understanding of what this business can be and the dangers of it, and the trials and tribulations, and just it's the rejection. And I think any parent probably wants to protect their kids from that. But so there was a cautiousness to the encouragement, but certainly, you know.
Were you playing piano at 14?
I was
Professionally?
I was playing piano. Yeah,
Classic?
I played jazz mostly, and I was a weird little. I had braces, and I played rock. I played on the Sunset Strip. I played at the Roxy, and I couldn't drive. I didn't have a driver's license, and I was, you know, I was too young to even be in there. But I was the guy, the nerdy savant-like guy that all the handsome blonde kids from Topanga asked to be in their band so that they could get all the girls, while I just soloed like Rain
Were you
Man.
another Oscar Peterson? Were you?
Oh man, I love Oscar Peterson. I mean, liking jazz at 14 was not the recipe for being cool, but
No, you must have been the strange kid of the group.
I was, but I went to like an artsy school, so they accepted it, and then you try to play in rock bands so you can be cool. But like I said, I stuck out a bit, but I played, yeah, and then I played in lobbies and played at Thai restaurants, and I did a lot of that
What was
stuff.
your big break?
As an actor? I mean, well, certainly
Big Bang,
nothing can beat what Big Bang was. I've been lucky enough to be working regularly since I was 19, so I supported myself since I was 19 and worked professionally. But Big Bang, before that I went on the heels of that was Studio 60, which wasn't a huge hit, but it was, at least I was kind of becoming more of somebody people knew.
Tell me about your children. You have 2 little babies, right?
I do. I have, yes, I have a 5-week-old son, and I have a 2-year-old daughter. And it's weird to even, I'm still in the phase where saying that either is going to make me cry or make me just shut down and not believe
I have
it.
children 14 months apart. How far apart?
Mine are, they're like almost exactly 2 years apart. So it's wild. This stage is like, it's like guerrilla warfare in my, I mean, we just wake up to things flying, and it's.
The daughter's name is what?
Our daughter's name is Adeline, and my son's name is Wilder.
Did you name after Gene Wilder?
He's definitely a huge inspiration to my wife and I, and Billy Wilder, and we just thought.
Is Gene Wilder kind of a comedic hero to you?
He definitely is. He definitely is. I think that he's able to balance, again, just bring a sense of truthfulness to every character, but nothing was ever too big. The stakes could never have been high enough for him. You know, or couldn't have been any higher, I should say. And you watch somebody who's so enormous and yet so grounded at the same time. It's
And seems
beautiful.
that he's retired, I guess. I've interviewed him a couple of times. Seems to be forgotten.
I will.
Sad.
I don't know where he is. I wish we could see him. I wish
Me
we could
too.
see him again.
Simon will take your questions in our final segment. Looking forward to IMI, and it will play a game of If You Only Knew, too. Stay with us. June 13th, we'll look for IMI in select theaters, also available on demand. You see them on The Big Bang Theory. Before we get to some questions, what do you make of The Big Bang Theory being banned in China?
I think it's they won't release a tremendous amount of information about what happened.
Why do you guess?
I think some of the articles I've read seem to imply, without sounding egotistical or anything, that the show is such an unbelievable influence on the youth and the entire country that I think the government is afraid that
Influence them to what?
That is the question that has never been answered, but I guess people are incredibly, I think it's making, I think what it maybe is that it's giving them enough confidence to feel like they might actually fit in and have a place as outsiders and as part of the human race and in the struggle that is life. And I think maybe that the government fears that they will become empowered with their own self-assuredness. And
banning is so ridiculous.
I don't understand. And The Good Wife, but Game of Thrones exists.
Well,
and I guess squishing people's heads till they explode is
that's okay.
That's fine.
We have some social media questions. Sarnoon via Twitter wants to know, what do you like most about Wolowitz as a character?
Well, I like that he's evolved. I like that he started as one thing and has transformed completely into another, and that was something Chuck Lorre had talked to me about, and how fortunate we are and how rare that is to watch a character start as kind of a failed Lothario, a sleazy wannabe ladies' man, and turn into actually a romantic, a married man, and somebody who is actually starting to become aware of themselves as opposed to just acting on every disgusting hormonal impulse. So I think it's also I guess he's kind of the Joker of the group, and I do enjoy getting to break that silence with a joke when it's teed up like that.
At Bazinga Cast tweets, what inspired you and your wife to make IMI?
It was all my wife. It was Jocelyn wrote this brilliant, beautiful script that was so unique, and we got such an outpouring of support by everybody that read it. But it is a very challenging thing to get movies made, and she decided to try something that nobody we knew had done at that point, which was called Kickstarter, which now everybody is aware of, and we raised $100,000 on that, which was a record at the time, if you can imagine. Now it's like $10 million, I think, is the record or whatever. But it was her drive to tell this story, and we got to be creative and in charge and produce it, and she directed it, and so we wanted to try something new.
At Weebly 240 wants to know if you're still living in Charlie Sheen's old manse, and if so, you ever talk to him? You live in his old place?
I don't know how to answer that question. His name was on a house that we bought, but he never lived there, and the press likes to have fun with that, I guess. I never did. I was not in communications. And I am not currently in communication with Charlie, but I have met him on occasion, and he was nothing but friendly when I
Nice guy. I always like Charlie. Pinero Tyro tweets, who's your favorite person to imitate? Your Christopher Walken is great.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I enjoy doing Nick Cage because I don't even remember what he sounds like anymore. It's just in my head, it's just this wild...
Walken is in Jersey Boys. Clint
Is he
Eastwood,
really?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I saw it.
What a fascinating thing that Clint Eastwood directed Jersey Boys.
Yeah,
I find that...
Well, he's a music guy. You know?
I know he's a music guy.
Look, the trailer looks great.
It looks amazing. I find
the show is the best of Jersey Boys.
Yeah,
you
no,
can't
it
top
just
Jersey Boys.
it might be a departure from Mystic River. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I find.
We like to finish the show with a little game of If You Only Knew.
Okay.
First person you ever kissed.
First person, a girl in 7th grade. It was in someone's closet, and we were.
What was her name?
Her name was Raina.
Raina.
Yes, and we were on our way to Not Scary Farm, and there was nothing scarier to me than kissing a girl.
You ever find out what happened to Raina?
I think we might be friends on Facebook. I don't even know if she remembers it because I made a big deal out of everything.
Thing you geek over the most?
Thing I geek over the most? Gosh, music stuff. I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I really have, I don't know, there's something I geek out over sometimes just looking at pictures of the Beatles and imagining. I saw a picture of them the moment before they crossed Abbey Road, and I think I stared at it for probably 15 minutes trying to imagine.
Paul McCartney played piano at my house.
Well, you're just rubbing
Yeah, I'm
it
just
in.
throwing it in.
Why? What happened? How
We
did
had
that happen?
dinner, and he came. My wife sings, and he wanted to hear what she sounded like, and
I
he came
ate
over to the
dinner,
house
and
and
I
played with her, and he played for her, and then he could have played with her too.
Well,
and then they listened to
hasn't he?
music together, and then he's become a friend, and I've.
Well, tell him that I have a piano, and my wife and I
Yeah, I'll
both
do
eat
my
dinner as
best.
well.
He would do it. You never know.
Please.
Person you find the funniest.
Oh man.
Who makes you laugh?
My gosh. I mean, we were talking about Gene Wilder. That's a huge one for me. I'm going to say, obviously, Woody Allen, Jerry Lewis, Peter Sellers. Those are people. Yes, yes.
At dinner with Don the other night. He's going to do our show soon. He's known him 50 years.
I mean, that's a whole other level. I mean,
It's another world.
Yeah.
Time travel or space travel?
Oh, time travel, right?
Yeah. Thing you like most about yourself?
It's hard to pick something I don't like. I'm pretty
Good thinking.
flawless.
Remember your worst audition?
Oh God, this just came up again. Yeah, there's oh my God. I mean, there's the commercial world is a humiliating one, and I do remember standing in a room and being handed a tiny xylophone for a TJ Maxx commercial and being yelled at by the casting director, just be funny, do it like Pee Wee Herman. Do you know who Pee Wee Herman is? Go. And I just remember standing there. I had a tie that was too short for me, and it was TJ Maxx. And the worst part was that I wanted the job. So that was, what the hell?
What's the best thing about being small?
I wouldn't know. I'm enormous. The best thing, I fit easily into overhead compartments on planes.
Yeah,
So there you go.
thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
Great meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks to my guest, Simon Helberg. IMI is in select theaters and available on demand June 13th. And remember, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. See you next time.